Welcome to Sports Close-Up. Mike Fiorello, co-host Jim Berger at the end. Jim, good to see you.
Mike, thank you.
Good show here today, Jim, as we talk about local high school and college football. And to my right, the distinguished guest, the morning drill from Titusville, Luke Ruot. Luke, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Mike.
Looking at making us all underdressed here, Chuck. Chuck Stopp from Cool 101. Chuck, look how Luke gets dressed. Nice
I know it is. He's ready to go, you know.
He's got to get dressed in the boots, shirt and tie, everything.
Just so you know, I was at the golf course. I thought this was course close-up.
Okay. And to Chuck's right is Pete Chiodo, the sports editor of the Meadville Tribune. Pete, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
Seriously, even so you're a Cleveland fan, that we won't hold that against you. And to his right, Jim Berger, the SID of Allegheny College, and he comes with a wealth of knowledge about the Gators this year.
Not much else, but I know the Gators.
And let's start with an article that the Tribune ran. And the time you see this taping, it'll be a while since it was in, but Journey Brown, a former standout for the Bulldogs, ready to embark on his college career with the Nittany Lions of Penn State. And I tell you what, if you saw our interview with Journey that we had in April when Jeff and I went down to do the wheelchair basketball game, what an outstanding young man. He told us at the time he could be the leading kick returner for the Nittany Lions this year. And on the depth chart, he's the third running back, which he's excited about. And don't forget, football fans, their second game of the season this year is at Heinz Field as they travel to meet the Pitt Panthers. And if you're a Journey Brown fan, I've talked to a lot of people in this area, and they already got their tickets. They want to go see Journey and just to root for that young man. So if you have a chance, get out there and see him. We talked to Journey. Journey's Journey. He hasn't changed at all. So is that happy attitude, and he's going to be very successful, and wish him all the luck in the world.
And he could have more responsibilities than third on the depth chart would suggest. I mean, they might be doing a lot of platooning back there because of the loss of Saquon Barkley. And the way you hear a lot of like blog posts and stuff from Penn State people that they say that he could find a lot more the ball a lot more often than he might expect this year out of the backfield.
No doubt. And one of the things that he talked about too is they like his speed when he circles out of the backfield and catches the ball. I know you Meadville fans are stunned because in Meadville we don't throw the ball more than 2 times a game. But I don't think Journey got thrown to much at all in his 4 years. But they're excited about the hands he has. He has very soft hands. He can catch the ball. The other thing he's done well, and I give credit to the Meadville staff on this, he blocks well. And that's one thing Coach Collins and the rest of the staff emphasizes with their running backs, is they all block too. And you have to block to be a Meadville running back because Meadville runs so much. So they were really impressed with that. So again, we wish Journey all the luck in the world, and I really feel, speaking for myself, I think he's going to have a standout 4-year career. I really do. Because there's one thing, Chuck, as you know, you don't coach. He has speed.
Yes, he does. And he's built up quite a bit.
I was just going to say that.
He's
He's really
training.
built up. Yeah.
Yes, he has. And I know the track coach at Penn State was trying to get him, and Franklin said that's not happening.
Yeah.
So, he's a special young man, so we wish him nothing but the best. Another young man from Meadville will start his college career will be Isaiah Manning down at Slippery Rock this year, and reports I get, it looks like Isaiah could be a contributor at linebacker for Slippery Rock, as ESPN just alerts me about Isaiah Manning. So wish both of those young men all the luck in the world, and I know the Bulldogs will miss them. But let's get right to small college first. And Jim, let's start with you. The Gators, third year for Coach Hamer.
Yeah, Coach
Hammer, I mean.
Yeah, BJ's in his third year. All signs pointing up. I know most of us here have seen the progression the last couple of years. 0-10 to 1-9 to last year 3-7, and you think about the record, but it was a pretty competitive 3-7. They were in a lot of those games. For example, the Wabash game against Wabash, a team who's perennially nationally ranked, came in and pretty much we lost the game on a bad call. If you recall, it was the interception instead of a sack call. And the Gators put up a lot of points on the board, averaged over 450 yards, averaged over 35 points. Those are both highs for the team since 2003, I believe. So they were able to throw it a lot. Alex Victor, one of the most explosive receivers in the conference, probably in the country. 6 catches over 70 yards last year.
Jim, you know what? And I know Chuck knows this because Chuck does all the games, and Vic and I do the home games on the internet, but he's a young man you want to pay to watch play.
Absolutely.
He is a young star, this Victor kid, and if anybody has a chance to get an invite to go to the next level from Allegheny in the future. This kid, because he has speed to burn. He's from Florida, right,
Yeah,
Jim?
Miami, Florida. Yes.
And if you haven't seen an Allegheny game, I mean, he made some great plays last year.
He's
Chuck.
worth the price of admission.
That's right. He's
because
worth the
you never can
Yes,
tell
right.
when he's going to break one loose.
Yeah.
And he does a great job.
And when he gets it, he's gone.
Yes.
I mean,
he
you
gets
can't
into the
catch him.
secondary, you can forget it. He's
Yeah.
long gone.
Yep. He set school records last year. He was the first receiver in school history, as crazy as that sounds, to break 1,000 yards. Led the conference with 16 touchdowns, and he also ran the ball a good bit, kind of like the a lot of screens out of the backfield. He's taking some options. Throwing the ball to him again this year, what looks to be Logan Lee. They had a very good connection last year, like you said. Just throw the ball up, and Victor's going to get it.
I got to believe the defenses will roll their secondary towards Victor this year.
I would think so.
have to.
But again, they have some other very good targets. Tristan Rhodes had 10 touchdowns last year. Dwayne Barber and Ben Bachik, both 6'5", rangy on the outside. So they have some very good talent offensively. And three of the four starters, three starters are coming back on the line, and one is coming back from injury. So the offense, I believe they have 10 of 11 regular starters back from last year. An offense that really set a lot of records. And I also heard this year they are going to emphasize the running game a little bit more because they have the line back as they did. Last year we saw Logan set the school record with 3,000 passing yards, 35 touchdowns. But Tyler Bala was a very solid running back. He ran for 960 yards, 10 TDs, made all-conference. He was the first Gator running back that made all-conference since Mario Tarquinio 11 years earlier. And he also has a couple guys to complement him this year. We've seen Brandon Sellers out of the backfield as a fullback. They have a transfer from St. Francis University, Pennsylvania, Kobe Pinkney, 6'1", 230. He just looks like an athlete. I saw him at check-in day last week, and I was like, wow. This guy does not belong in Division III, and I think they're expecting a lot out of him, so they could have a potential very strong two-headed monster out of the backfield. I know they're looking for more balance, but exciting things on offense for this Gator team.
What about offensively, coaching staff-wise? The same offense coordinator?
Yep, Braden Layer is
which
back.
Which is a good thing because continuity.
And you saw, last year was his first year,
right.
and it helps to have guys like Victor and Lee, but they made strides. They did a lot of creative stuff.
And Jim, I thought Logan Lee, and Chuck, you can address this too, really grew as a quarterback last year.
Absolutely. Oh, he
to the
certainly
next
did.
level because there was competition for that position.
Yes.
A lot of people don't think Logan was going to hold that job, and I thought he stepped up and I think he won the position where it's hard to take him out now.
He did, and they did much better on third down conversions than they had done in the past. A lot of time third down conversion, you're talking 3rd 11, 3rd and 12. A lot easier when you got 3rd and 2 or 3 or 4.
You're exactly right.
So,
and I think it helped Logan as well. The previous years before that, he and John Nigro pretty much shared 50-50. I think it helped Logan. This is my job. I don't have to look over my shoulder as much. I still got to work hard, but I finally have the starting job.
Well, he did like a 2nd or 3rd game 2 years ago, come in and he took over for the rest of the year.
Right, yep, you're right. I think he started, 16 straight games now, so... the offense will be very fun to watch again.
What's also helped him, and this has to be mentioned, is when Coach Hamer got there, he instituted one tremendous weightlifting program. And you saw it last year, Chuck. I think you've noticed this too. The Gators are stronger than have been in a while.
Absolutely.
Because 4 or 5 years ago, Allegheny looked like a high school team out there compared to the
Well, when you got late in the ball game, there's nothing there on defense.
Exactly, and their offensive line couldn't protect the quarterbacks, and now I think Logan feels more comfortable when he goes back to pass. No, he's not going to get killed.
And you can see a lot of the guys have bulked up even more. Victor, 5'8", I think he's up to 175, 180 now. He's bulked up. Tristan Rhodes, he looks more like he could play linebacker, and he's still a receiver running a 4.6 40. So they've really hit the weights hard. And looking on defense, lost a bit more. They lost guys like Colton Buzzard was solid. He won't be back this year. Freddie Ruiz, Travis Thomas, those are some of their big playmakers on D, but they do have a lot of talent back as well. Marcus Davenport will lead the charge on the defensive tackle side. Kyle McGee, defensive end, outside linebacker hybrid. Chase Balla in the defensive secondary, all conference last year as a freshman, younger brother of Tyler Balla. I know last year they'd score a lot of points, but they did give up a lot of points, and I think that they've worked hard at solidifying, especially the defensive secondary, the safety spot. I know they have a lot of competition coming in, a lot of younger guys looking to make a role on defense. Corey Lasky, he played a lot on special teams last year. I think he'll be slated as a starting linebacker. And the secondary, again, Brian Lopez, he's a safety as well. So they have, Lopez is back, Chase Bala, Silas Garrison back, Clarence Long and Charles Ross are back as starters on defense. And I think anywhere, they were a young unit last year. They only had, like I said, two seniors they lost on defense. So I think that they, an extra year helps, an extra year of the weights help, an extra year of being mentored by Coach Hammer, the defensive, he's also defensive coordinator. I think that helps.
What about the big 99?
Marcus Davenport, yeah, he will be back in the middle of the line, plugging up. He's a commanding presence as well, I would say.
Sure is. He's a big dude, man.
And Marcus Davenport, Tyler Bowell, Chase Bowell, all from New Kensington, Pennsylvania, 3 high school teammates at Valley High School. So I expect, last year, again, as he said, they lost 7 games, and a lot of them were competitive.
I could have been a 500 season without a doubt.
Right. I think the Worcester game, we're right there with them. They scored a couple touchdowns late. Like I said, the Wabash game. So I think that they're ready to take the next stride. I could see
6 and 4
5, 6 wins. Yeah, 5 and 5, 6 and 4. I could see. Yes.
First game
is September 1st at 1:00 against Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, RPI.
Home in Allegheny.
It is home, and it's a test. They went to the national tournament the last 2 years. They ranked 23rd in the preseason poll. They went 9-3 last year, so it will be a tough one for the Gators to start. So it'll be a great gauge to see where they're at.
What's the name of the school?
RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, in Syracuse area.
A lot of smart kids going to that school.
Well, they actually have a tough opening stretch of the schedule, beginning with RPI. Then they go into conference play with Worcester and Denison, 2 teams who have been, I know Denison has gained some national attention. They got a very good quarterback coming back. Worcester has the leading receiver in the nation coming back. So first 3 games will be a test, and I think the Gators will only come out of camp healthy. I think that it'll be a fun year.
And what's the prediction so far? Who have they predicted number 1 in NCAC?
Wittenberg, I believe, is still. It'll be Wittenberg, DePaul, Wabash. I think those will be the 3. Allegheny again, 5 and 5, 6 and 4. Could be anywhere from 5th place to 3rd place, I think. And again, DePaul, that's another team that Allegheny was very competitive with last year, and they got a lot of national attention. So in a very competitive conference, I think that's one of the things. There's no real easy games. There's no real gimme games. You saw last year Oberlin was supposed to be the pushover.
I know.
It was it did not go well. But then, every game will be a tough one. I don't think there will be any blowouts or anything like that, but I think it'll be a fun year.
And Jim, people want to get their schedule online. What's the website?
www.alleghenygators.com. And there are also, if you'd like to stop by the Y Center, if you're in Meadville, a lot of schedule cards are there available for the public. So alleghenygators.com. Follow them on Twitter at AC Gator Sports.
And of course, Cool 101.7 will be broadcasting home and away of the Gators again.
Thank you again,
For
Chuck.
about, the 5th year, I think now?
5th or 6th, yeah. So. Chuck Stopp and Stephen Fulmar, our esteemed crew, they will have their spot in the press box.
That's right.
It's nice about, too, if you're locally and you want something to do on a Saturday afternoon, just go up there and catch theGators. It's a good time, bring your family.
I'll ask Jim, game 1, is that going to be free admission like it has been in the past?
I believe it is, yes. We're all working with Bill Ross. Since we had a little change in administration, a lot of things have kind of gotten backlisted on the to-do list, but I do believe it will be community night, yes.
Chuck, if not, Jim said he's covering forever.
Is that what it is?
That's Jim Harvey, you get in. Not a problem, Jim said. So that's a good thing.
But check www.alleghenygators.com for all the latest news on the Gators.
I'd ask you, Jim, how's the press box going?
Well, same as life.
It'll still be the friendly, cozy confines at Robertson Athletic Complex.
Yeah.
It is amazing, though, to see that difference from high school to college, whether it's, Edinboro,
right.
Clarion, Allegheny, even Pitt-Titusville. Just that difference in skill and quickness, yeah.
No doubt. I want to talk a little bit about the PSAC since we have a couple teams locally that are in the PSAC West, and I was talking to Ray Reistoff, who couldn't make it tonight, and I want to thank him for providing me some information in the PSAC conference that the Western Division came out with their rankings, and IUP, what a surprise, is ranked number 1 in the West, and Cal's number 2. And then finally, some of the local teams have made inroads. Slippery Rock has gone all the way up to number 3. Slippery Rock continues to improve their program the last few years, and a couple of Meadville kids are on their team. Hopefully they'll see some action. So they look to make a headway at Slippery Rock. And then number 4 is the Fighting Scots, who lost a lot through graduation, especially on the defensive side. They had a coach that was an interim coach. They got hired as a full-time coach. Now Wayne Bradford, this will be his second season. Last year he was 7-4 as his first season. Got a chance to talk to him too. What a personal guy. What a nice guy. He's thrilled that he's the head coach. He's been there forever. And that was his dream job, to be Edinburgh's head coach. So he's their head coach. And they've made some changes too in administration too. They have a new AD up at Edinburgh. Number 5 is the Golden Knights. And I think Jim Porsche's husband's still there,
Yes,
right?
Josh Willie will still be on staff this year. Yep.
Still the offense coordinator, if I'm not mistaken.
He's got a lot of talent too, if I believe.
And they're only picked for number 5.
Well, I think a lot of that, they have a lot of talent. Running back, I think he was one of the PSAC players of the year last
Marcus
year.
Jones.
Marcus Jones. Yes, yeah, he was like. I think he's back. So
He is back.
So that will help them a lot. I don't know what. I know they're getting a new defensive coordinator if they don't already have one. So there probably some uncertainty on the defensive side of the football. But I think if you have a running back like that at that level in that conference, you're going to win some games.
Meadville has a couple kids playing for the Golden Knights this year too, and their names escape me, and I apologize for that. Number 6 is the Mercyhurst Lakers, and the question is, I got to ask Chuck, is they recruited a young man from Cache a few years ago that went there with a lot of. Where is he?
I'm not.
You know what I'm talking about? Hunter Merritt.
Hunter Merritt, yeah. I heard about what Hunter has done. I really can't.
Fine athlete, and I don't know what happened to him when they got to Mercyhurst.
Usually we get information, pick up something.
Got to find out from John. Number 7 is the Clarion Golden Eagles. They've been at number 7 for years, and number 8 is Seton Hill. So anyway, again, Saturday afternoons, you get on the PSAC website. I know Edinburgh starts their season on the 1st also, and they're at Lake Erie.
Cleveland, yeah. That's
how what that is?
Yep.
Name of the school is Lake Erie.
Lake Erie College. I believe they're the Tornadoes.
Okay.
Or the Storm, Lake Erie Storm.
Jim knows that. Slippery Rock is home against Kentucky State. That's interesting. And Gannon is home on the 30th of August.
Thursday night game.
Yeah, 6 p.m. Thursday night game. They're playing South Connecticut State. So Thursday night you can go to Gannon game. Friday night you can go to a local high school game. And Saturday you can go to Allegheny or Edinburgh.
That's a fun weekend.
That's right.
Or Saturday night go see Cockerton Mercer.
Well, why don't we talk about high school right now,
Your question,
Chuck?
though, first,
Go ahead, Pete.
Hunter Merritt, he said in 2016 he redshirted at Mercyhurst last year as a linebacker. It looked like he got into 5 games and had a few tackles against Lockhaven. So who knows? Maybe he's moving up the depth chart this year, and we'll see a little more time.
What an athlete!
Yeah,
he was a great high school athlete. I was like,
outstanding. Yeah.
And just listening
nuts.
Listening to those teams in that conference, I mean, that is a meat grinder of a schedule. Cal, Slippery Rock, IUP, Edinburgh. That's a meat grinder.
Really, I think the interesting. I want to see what happens with the quarterback position at Edinburgh because they got 3 good guys there. And they got to replace a really good guy, Jake Sisson, who left after throwing for a ton of yards last year. And they got Andrew Tomko, who was a Sharon graduate. He threw for a ton for the Tigers. They got a guy who transferred in from, I don't know how you pronounce it, Lenoir Rhine, yeah. Lenoir Rhine, and then they got a guy, Levi Becker, who came from McDowell, and he redshirted at Ohio Dominican, then transferred. So there's 3 good guys that they have to replace it. They have a battle going on at camp right now. So that's going to be, I think, a big key to their success was how they could develop a new quarterback there.
No doubt about that. You need a quarterback to drive the engine, no matter how many starters you get back. You do. And PSAC's the biggest Division II conference in the country.
Is that right?
Yeah, in all sports. The biggest one in the country.
Yeah, they got 2 divisions full of teams.
Yeah, 2 divisions, East and
West. They actually do 3 for some sports. They have a Central as well.
Yeah. But, I mean, they have a lot of talented kids in the PSAC, and it's a good brand of ball. Really good. Let's get to our local high school now, and let's look at Region 2 first, because Region 2's got a lot of our local teams in it. You got Cochran, Cambridge Springs, Sagertown, and Maplewood, and then Eisenhower Union City fill it out. And let's go to Chuck and Pete, and Luke jump in here too, give us a lot of information on these local teams. And Chuck, Cochran had their 2nd annual Midnight Madness last night.
Well, they did. It was another good one down there at Cochran, midnight. Of course, the first day of practice. They got things rolling down there in Cochranton, and things look good. Cole Bernarding will be back this year, get injured last year. About 2nd game into the campaign, lost the entire season, but he's going to back. He'll be strong this year. And, of course, then Curtis Frymouth, who did some quarterbacking along with Garrett Long. Well, it looks like that Frymouth will be in the backfield this year. And as we saying only 2 players lost in the offensive defensive line. Kenny Custon, he seemed to be on about every tackle last year. He was outstanding.
Yeah.
And also Alex Suter is gone. But boy, Pete, I think they're going to be the team to watch this year.
Yeah, and it's Cochrane too. These are always scrappy kids.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have a big team, but they fight. You know, so I think they're going to be really competitive, as they have been. You know, well, last year was a bit of a step, and I think the Cole Bernarding injury I think really hurt them.
Oh, it's absolutely.
And first year for the coach last year. Too,
Yeah,
right?
Yes, it
So
was.
that
From
gets
West
some-
Middlesex. He's
to
a good
get some
coach.
adjustment there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a much better year for them. And I talked to Cole last night at Midnight Madness, and he took his, he participated in the tackling drills right at the start of camp. It was his first contact since getting hit. Third game of the season, first play of the game is when he went out. And I talked to him. He said he was a little bit nervous, but it felt good, and he feels good, and he's ready to go. And with him and Curtis in the backfield, they're going to be tough to stop.
Yeah, very competitive.
You guys talk a little bit about that Midnight Madness. There are a lot of people there. Did they concession stand open? What's going on
they had
down
the
there?
concession stand. It was fun. They had the concession stand. They had fans came in. They had the band. They had the cheerleaders. Everybody got riled up. They had a countdown on the score clock. They had fire trucks there when it hit midnight. Fire trucks did their sirens. Everybody started yelling, and they broke and started doing tackling drills. And it
How
was,
long did it go?
I
They
don't
were
know.
talking about lasting 2:30 to 3 o'clock. According to the
Wow.
coach
Yeah.
I was listening to, I was not there. But he said it would probably be around 2:30 to 3
Yeah, they
o'clock.
had a
so-
regular practice, a 2-hour whatever practice, and then they go to sleep in the gym or wherever in the high school. They wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning or get
Back
Oh, so
out.
they
8 hours
stay
sleep.
right there.
They get them 8 hours sleep, and then they go back out and do their second session.
Bring your sleeping blankets.
Wow. That's pretty interesting for high school.
But
Something
from what I
different.
hear, they got some PS4s and Xboxes there, so I don't know if there's
They
much
didn't get
sleep.
much
Yeah,
sleep.
probably not.
Did you do your article from that last
Well,
night?
no, because the paper was
Already out,
Yeah,
yeah.
the paper
No,
was
but I
in.
meant for the upcoming.
I'm here when I get back to the office from here. I'll write the paper or I'll write the story.
But you got your information for
Right.
that last night. So that's good to get one school out of the way. That helps a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe
it was
more
still a
schools
lot
should go to
do.
Midnight Madness.
Yeah. Then we wouldn't know who to cover though.
Yeah, right.
So you guys
narrows
look
our
at
options.
Cochrane. And last year, the big team, Chuck and Pete, as you guys know, was the Cambridge Spring Blue Devils. What
Well, they
about
lost
them?
it. They lost it tough. Pete?
Yeah, they did lose a bunch of guys. I don't really know how they're gonna.
Yeah, Noah Reisenauer is gone.
And he was a big playmaker for
Oh,
them last
it's
year.
3
Ned
sport
Carter
award winner.
Babb is gone. Trent
Is he
Mary's
playing anywhere
gone. Brody
this year,
Swab.
Chuck? Noah?
He's going to Cambridge. Noah Reisenauer. I think he's going to Mercyhurst.
Okay. So another local product at Mercier is good.
Yeah, they're 7-4. This is another one of those schools that they get tough kids. They get scrappy kids. They might not be the biggest or the strongest, but they manage to fight. So we'll see what Coach Grubbs has
Good
going for
tradition
them.
down at Cambridge
yeah.
too. Good
He'll put
programs
something
year in
together,
year
yeah.
out.
Yeah, but they I don't
Now,
know.
they open
how
up
that's
at
gonna
Girard,
pan
Yeah.
which is interesting because by the time this airs, Meadville scrimmage is at Girard. So I'll be interested to see. I'm sure Cambridge will be there in force, and I see Cochrane plays home against Mercer.
Right.
You want to talk
That's-
about that game?
Yeah, that's a Saturday night game, and that's going American Heroes. That's a big event going on down there that night, and we'll learn more about that. We'll have that one on Cool also,
That's
and that'll
nice.
be on Saturday night, the 25th,
Saturday
24th.
night.
Yeah,
Mercer's
we'll open
got a
up
new
with
coach this year.
we'll open up with Oil City playing at Conneaut on a Friday night.
And Sagertown, let's talk about Sagertown. What do we see Sagertown? A lot of people thought maybe they wouldn't have a program. They'd merge with Cambridge, but they're still keeping their
Yeah,
program.
they did a lot of recruiting earlier last year. Coaches, players, parents, everybody got enough to field a football team, and a lot of younger players, a lot of freshmen, a lot of juniors on that team, and they didn't lose too much due to graduation.
No.
We'll just see how the experience got through, how they can compete with the rest of the region.
Number-wise, what do they have, 20?
It looks pretty good. On Max Preps, they have 30-some listed
Good.
right now.
Good.
I saw pictures of their heat acclimation, and it looked like it had a pretty good crew
That's good.
of kids. So, it looks like they're going to have a team this year. As far as who goes where, I think it's still up in the air after last year.
I said this many times, Chuck. I think I say this every year, but was it 6 or 7 years ago now when the PIAA moved them down to Mercer, kind of
Well,
killed
that was the end of the
them.
program.
Killed them.
Oh yeah.
But for years in the FCVC, they were right there.
Well, when you're losing 75 to nothing every game, taking
Yep.
on those teams down there, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was just tough for them all those years. Well, players wouldn't come out; they wouldn't go out and get their heads beat in every game. So,
Parents didn't want their kids
well,
coming.
last year, they looked like they only had 15, 16. You can't field a team like that, but
Right.
as I said, they go out and did a little recruiting, got enough to have a football team.
And Titusville plays them
First
Opening
game.
game, yeah.
opening game.
Tell us about that, Luke.
Well, the last time these two played, I believe, was in 2013, and it was one of those games where both teams had lost every single
Right.
game. They were
Right.
both, I think, 0-8
Right.
going into that game. So really, nobody wins that game.
Right.
I mean, that's a tough situation.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. And Titusville's sort of in a rebuilding year. Well, last year was the transition year. So you had that great season 2 years ago
Yep.
with Titusville. Last year, not so good. Complete opposite. So this year you're starting out with a new coach. And with that comes all this new
This
philosophy.
year's another new coach?
New coach, yeah.
Didn't that one last year, new coach?
No. Hancock had been there for a number of years,
okay.
but
So this year's new.
yeah,
And
Brian.
they're in Region 6, Luke, and you got Mercier's Prep, who's got everybody back. And you
Yeah.
got Fairview, Northeast, Girard, Harbor Creek, Corey. Boy, they're in a tough division.
Yeah.
They are in a
Now,
tough
2 years ago, we handled ourselves quite well with
Yes,
those
you did.
teams.
Yes, you did.
Last year, not the case. So this year it's going to be interesting, and there's really a lot of unknowns for us this season because we know that a lot of these kids that are coming back might not be in the same position. Of course, with the new coach, you're going to be trying new things. So for a lot of us, it's going to be that first game of the season that we're going to find out a lot of things like positions, and we don't even know starting quarterback quite yet. So there's a lot of unknowns.
When you go to Sagertown, do they have a scrimmage before the first game?
Yeah, they'll play the week before on a Saturday.
Do you know who they scrimmage? or-
Earlier, I could have told you, yes.
Okay. You lost it on the ride down here.
Yeah, I did. So, yeah, we start out with Sagertown at Sagertown, and what's kind of cool, they just added this last game of the season on the 26th of October, Vincentian Academy out of Pittsburgh, coached by T.J. Wiley, who was the former
Yeah.
quarterback in Titusville.
That's if you don't opt to go in the playoffs.
Correct.
Right. If you opt out and they don't have a playoff game, you'll play that game.
Was
right?
his coach the former coach of Titusville?
His dad was
Oh,
the
his dad,
coach.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where's that
John
game gonna be?
Wiley.
John
That'll be
Wiley,
in
yeah.
Titusville.
And Vincentian's a newer program, I believe. This is only their third year, I want to say.
And this is TJ's first season coaching there.
So what that means then you'll only have 4 road games. Looking at Titusville's schedule, you only go to Sagertown, Mercer's Prep, Corey, and Harbor Creek. You have a lot of home games because you have Northeast second week home,
Yeah.
Concord third week home. Tell us about the Concord and Titus was starting to develop into a little bit of a rivalry there. I remember a couple
Yeah.
of years ago at Ruot down at Concord.
Yeah, it's a very physical game. Well, you go back 2 years ago where Titusville won it with the last remaining
Yeah.
seconds, and then last year they took it out on us, 36-13. I think
They
was
were
the
waiting
final.
a whole year for
They
that
were, they were. But that's the thing about high school football,
Yeah,
right? And
right.
following these teams throughout
Exactly.
the years is that they'll put that little asterisk there and they'll say next year. So I think that's going to help this year's rivalry. And yeah, it is. I think it is becoming something.
And Luke, tell us about you guys will be covering the Rockets again.
Yeah, we're going to be covering all the games on Stream TV, and some of those games will also air on Armstrong, so we thank Armstrong for that. In fact, the first game of the season against Sagertown will be live on Armstrong. So
You know what's neat about you guys doing it on Stream TV, though, is that the people in the Titusville area, but beyond the Titusville area, that have relatives can see their kids play on TV, on the computer. That is pretty awesome.
Well, it's all these schools, and like we talked a couple years ago when Journey Brown played. I mean, the amount of people that follow the team. We get comments all the time from people in Colorado and
Yeah.
Florida and Texas and California. They might not even know anybody on the team, but to them, they have those memories of being at,
Right.
in our case, Carter Field on a Friday night. And for us, that's a unique stadium to play in. So people really like to kind of relive those memories.
Yeah, and like we talked about last year on a Friday night in the fall, you just feel it's high school football time, right? And everybody gets excited, especially the first 3 or 4 games. You're excited, and then if your team is doing well, the excitement builds.
Right.
And Chuck, you guys get to do a different game every week, so you guys are going like near the end of the season where the excitement's really building.
All right. Schedule can change,
Yeah.
fluctuate. Which one we're going to
And
do?
then you follow certain teams in the playoffs
True.
too, which is pretty awesome.
Right.
So that's the way of doing different games too. But cool, always, which is nice about your station too, Chuck, is you get to cover all the different teams in the area.
True.
So
That
everybody
makes
gets
it
a
so much
chance.
nicer because if you're following one team and they're having a disaster season, like Titusville, or if you're following them all the game and they're not winning any, it's tough. But we try to go out and get the highlight of the week, or hopefully the best game of the week.
And let's go back quickly to Region 2, Chuck, because we didn't touch on Maplewood, and I think they're starting to build something there.
Well, they are, but they lost quite a bit too, and I think
did
Pete's
they?
over here. Yeah, they lost their tailback, Con John Henderson. He'll be gone. They do have back though
He had a good year.
Chevy
last year,
Blake, yeah, he was a running back last year for him. Jacob Roser called that name quite a bit last year, and he is gone as a wide receiver and defensive back, so that will hurt there.
What about
Young
quarterback?
is gone.
Yeah,
Mark
Quarterback
Bailey.
yeah. Jeb Parker, he is also gone. Tight end, so that'll hurt that there. They lost quite a few. Mark Crago, he was also lost. He was a running back. Proper, one of the quarterbacks, and so they lost quite a bit. So they'll have a rebuilding program in Tiger Country.
Was your first game last year the Maplewood Cochranton game?
Well, if you're back, I'm not sure.
Probably.
It looked like that was a
Sounded
pretty good
like
game.
it
Yeah,
was.
Maplewood
I know.
won that, but I mean, it was
Well, they got J.D. McFadden back. Maplewood does
Yeah,
quarterback,
yeah,
and
right.
he got a lot. He carried a
Good
lot of mail
athlete. He's
last
a very
year.
good
Beat their
athlete.
coach. What's his name? He's done a good job since he's
Brian
taken-
Borkovich.
He's
yes,
done a
that's
good
right,
job
good
down
yeah.
there.
He's starting to, because Maplewood was a pushover for
Yes.
many years.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
And he's managed to bring them up to respectability in these last few
He
years.
did.
They always come out. They win their share of games.
He
and
was
they
on
surprise a
Coach
couple teams.
Collins' first staff, and then got the head job at Maplewood. He's a good coach.
Also,
He's
for a
very
while, they
knowledgeable.
were in a tough region too.
Oh yeah.
Not
Yeah,
always in
they
this
got-
region
Oh
too.
yeah.
So
That's
that
exact-
that hurt them quite a
So
bit.
I'm looking at Region 2, and what I like about it is 4 teams that used to be in the FCVC are there.
Yeah, it's kind of, French Creek Valley.
Get some rivalries going anyway.
Yeah, get 'em
Cochrane
back
and Cambridge
again.
have become a rivalry.
And you have the Pencrest rivalry again.
Oh, yeah,
You
right.
got Maplewood, Cambridge,
three.
and
Sagertown,
Sagertown
yeah.
going after each other. So that's pretty cool. And the AD out in Pencrest, Dana Mason's got to love that.
Eisenhower's a bit of a wild card in that. I'm not really sure what to expect from them. They graduated a bunch too. They were 4 and 6 last year. They kind of stick out there like they're coming down to play. They graduated their quarterback. They graduated their running backs, kicker, couple linemen. So who knows? It could be a rebuilding year for them. And then Union City, they graduated a ton. Quarterback, wide receivers, a bunch of linemen. They had a big senior class last year. I was looking through old photos, looking for some underclassmen that use this year. Everything was a senior. So they're gone, but they do have Gavin Henry back, who's a 1,000-yard rusher for them last year. He's a big.
What else do you
Big
do
truck
in
of a
Union
kid.
City but play football? I mean, look where Union
Yeah,
City
Union
is.
City, yeah,
I mean, come on.
they got
There's
golf.
nothing else to do out there. Let's go play football.
They got the country club there. They play golf. And
That
they,
country club is. I play golf with their country club every year.
Yeah,
First 9 is easy. The second 9
it gets back in the woods back
Oh.
there. Yeah,
Tell you what, I need about 6 golf balls to do the second 9.
yeah.
Jim, I'll tell you what, that second 9, I got to take you sometime.
It's all wide open in the front,
Front's wide open.
and then you get in the back. And
Forget about
the
it.
walls close.
Just telling you.
Sounds like it could be a course close-up episode.
I know it will be down the road. Hey, Pete,
Yes, sir.
so who do you think out of that would you pick as a favorite right now? Sound effects brought to you by
I'd say right now, uneducated guess. I'd say it's up between Maplewood and Cochranton.
Nice.
That's
And
what I'm
both of them
thinking.
might make the playoffs then, right, Chuck?
That'd
Which
be
would
nice if
fun.
they did, yeah.
exactly. So playoff structure that you play within your own region then for the District 10 championship, right? Am I right? How does that work again? I
No,
forget.
No, they got the Mercer.
There's the 4 teams in Region 1, which is also. I mean, let's 1A is gonna be Farrell.
Yeah. Oh, that's no doubt about
Right,
that.
You
right.
know,
That's why I didn't bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who that's going to be Farrell. But if you're looking at Region 2, who's Region 2 down south? I don't know. Do you guys know?
What do you mean?
I mean, not Region 2. What region that we just talked about?
The Region 1, the
Region
1A
one.
regions, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about
Region,
Farrell.
Region 2. Is that Farrell?
Farrell, West Middlesex.
Yeah.
Right, Region 1 is Farrell, West
Region one,
Middlesex.
yeah.
No, but
Reynolds,
Region 2
Mercer.
is Cochran and Cambridge.
Right.
Yes.
Who's
They are
Region
1A
2?
school. You just said what Region
Oh, 1A, not region.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm locked
yeah.
in the
2 was.
region.
Well,
I'm
Class
sorry.
1A, yeah.
I'm sorry. Locked in the
Yeah, Class 1A would be
Got it.
the Region 1 and Region 2 teams in the District 10 playoffs.
But now we look at Region 5. We have the Cash Eagles are in there. Chuck with Hickory, Grove City, Sharon, and
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Conneaut Eagles.
let's
but,
talk about the Cash Eagles now
yeah.
going back down
Well, they got their
south.
quarterback back, but they lost a lot. They lost a ton when you look at the Conneaut
Beagle's
Eagles.
kind of happy at waving to see you go down south again.
But you know, Padgo, he always gets good replacements.
that
so-
goes an almost coach.
Yeah, isn't he though?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at the Conneaut Eagles there, Pete. You want to? I was just looking at it here.
Well, like you mentioned, the quarterback's back, Kyle Sheets.
Right.
He's an exciting player,
But-
big kid, can get a lot done.
But you've lost the right tackle, Matt Mosier.
Yes.
Gavin Tompkin, he's gone. Hunter Straight's gone. Tight end, wide receiver Ethan Ray's gone, and Christian Zarabinsky, he is also gone at wide receiver. And the big ones you're going to lose, the running back Bailey Kirsnick, and I'll tell you, he was outstanding last year.
You got Noah Richardson back. He's a nice player. You got Peyton Hearn back. He's a nice player.
Wrestler, strong kid.
Yep.
you know.
You got Chad Jones back. You got Trevor Tursky back. You got Tannen Newman back.
And Austin Kelly,
You know who
linebacker.
Tannen Newman is, right?
Tanner Neiman, yeah.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Does anybody know who he is? Ray Collins' stepson.
Oh,
Coach
that's
Collins
right.
from
that's
Meadville
right.
stepson.
Okay. I
Plays
was
for
wondering what
Cash,
you were
yeah.
getting.
That's right, because he does come out and see a lot of the games.
Yeah.
So that would,
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, they'll
another
have their
player to watch
center
for
back.
them is Austin Kelly, the linebacker.
Yep.
He's a very good linebacker. He's back for them this year.
And Pat Gould has a fabulous record, and he's a
absolutely.
winner as a coach. This is his 14th season.
I know. Can't believe he's been that
Oh my
long for.
God! And he's
Dan
93,
McCullough was there. Only 2 coaches in the entire history of football
Well,
at Linesville. Conneaut.
93 and 49.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good record.
Yeah. And the
And,
District 10 championship over.
He also
Cathedral
won a
Prep.
D10 championship when he was their baseball coach way a long time ago before they merged.
State
Yes.
runner-up, I think.
Yes, he was. He won the state
runner-up, yeah,
championship.
he
Yeah.
won
Yeah.
D10 state runner-up, yeah. So he, and he had his lifting program at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, kids are there. They want to play
Treating
for
their
him. They're
winners.
there.
That's right.
You know, and
That's another area too. We're always
Chuck,
going to get tough kids.
one
Yeah.
of the biggest
Yeah.
thrills of your life, though, had to be, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now when you called a prep cash game of Cash Beach from the D10.
Yeah.
Still got to give you
You
chills.
dream of those games, and we had one.
And
I think
nobody
every-
thought Cash had a
I
chance.
think there's only about 10% of the people there
Nobody
that was
thought
rooting
that.
for Cathedral Prep, and that was their fans and
Yeah, that's
parents.
right.
Other than that, everybody from the county, and there was you looked down, you saw jackets from every school in the county, and probably Erie County too, all rooting for Conneaut. What a game that was.
In the snowstorm.
Never forget it, yeah.
14-7, yeah.
Yep.
That was a great thing, and that feathers of the cap for Cash, something they'll never forget either.
No.
You know,
County will never forget it.
and all the public schools were so happy.
Oh, yeah.
And let's not discount what it did for Conneaut High School as a whole. That was their 3rd year of being Conneaut High School. It was still a bit fractured. Conneaut Lake, Conneaut
Good
Valley,
point.
Linesville. That was a moment where they really adhered together as one school. They had a team to root for. They had a championship to put in their trophy case. They beat Cathedral Prep. They really became a one school. I think that's what, according to their athletic director, I talked
John
to recently.
Ackland, yeah.
He pinpoints that as the moment
No
they
question.
became Cash. So that was huge for that program over
No
there.
question.
That's not just kids either. Those are
Everybody.
parents
Oh, yeah.
who
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
struggle with
Well, the
coming
parents
together.
struggle
They
more than the
struggled
kids.
more, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kids don't struggle as much as parents do. Because the parents said, I went to Valley, I went to Lake.
Right.
Kids are like, who cares? I'm playing football. I'm happy.
That's right.
Here's the other thing, too. I know a lot of the kids from Valley would tickle pink because Chuck, as you know, near the end, they had trouble fielding a team.
Oh, yeah.
Number
Oh,
one.
absolutely. They were just about like Sagertown, really.
Right.
Towards the end, they
Yeah.
were really in big trouble.
Well,
but,
before they became Cash, Lake canceled their program. The Conneaut Lake players went and joined Linesville.
That's right.
Conneaut Lake
That's
Linesville
right.
For
And
one
you
season.
you
before
look
they
way
became
back,
Cash.
I'm back in the 70s and 80s. Lake used to be a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Linesville Lake games were unbelievable,
oh,
Chuck, when you did
I think the
those.
first 2 years they ended up like 0-0.
That's right. And
But
I
then-
look at Conneaut's schedule, Chuck. They only have 4 home games. They have 5 on the road, but their first 2 are home. It's interesting, they're playing Oil City, who I think is the favorite to win their region, Oil City, and then they host Meadville, who we'll talk about in a
Tough
little bit.
games to get started with, always that rivalry.
And then they go to Northeast, they go to Hickory, they come back and host General McLean, a non-region game, but a real good team. Then they go to Sharon, Slippery Rock home, the end of season at Grove City and at Conneaut, Ohio before the playoffs. So they
That's
have,
tough,
they have
tough.
a tough schedule this year. But you know what? If anybody can get them ready, it's Pat Gould.
Oh, absolutely. I agree
Right?
with that
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, he's a motivator, but he's also a very good coach. And he's a good staff.
Yes.
And he's got those signs, Pete.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
They don't make
All
any
those
sense.
different
They're upside
signs, like
down.
4 different
Yeah.
signs, and the kids look at them to get their
They
wristband, and
understand.
boom.
They
they're
know
gone.
exactly what's going
Yeah,
on.
kids
There's
know
an
what's
alligator
going
gator
on.
logo in this.
Yeah,
Look at
it's
that.
really good. And that brings us to Region 7, which is Fort LaBeouf, McLean, Oil City, Franklin, Warren, DuBois, which doesn't count for the playoffs, so they go to District 9, but they're in the region, and Meadville. And I will say this, Meadville's been devastated the last 2 years by graduation. It could be a long year for the Bulldogs.
Is that right?
Yeah, it could be a
You
long
tell
year.
me, what have you seen? Have they restocked the backfield yet? Who do they have running the ball? Do you know?
Jonte Brown,
Which a great athlete.
Landon Beck,
Okay, another one.
probably the other Brown kid,
Max
Max Brown, and of course they got the quarterback back,
Colin. Okay.
Collins back again, and he can throw the ball. But they got 2 exciting players that I want to mention. LaShawn Lindsay.
LaShawn.
LaShawn is at split end defensive end. He grew he grew about 2 inches over the summer. He's about 6'7", 6'8".
No
right
kidding.
now. And he's put some strength on because he lifted with the kids, and he looks stronger. I was at practice this morning. Was their first practice. I couldn't wait to get down there because I love high school football, and Coach Collins has granted me always total access. I want to thank him. And he has a great staff. He has put together one fine staff at Meadville that teach the kids more just football. They teach them life.
Yeah.
You know, and I've said this before. You know, you have a state cop as your head coach. Kids listen to you. He just has that presence when he walks in the locker room. He goes, okay, I'm listening. You know, this is kind of interesting. But he has a great staff. He has a commissioner, John Amato, as part of his staff. Great guy. I know Luke knows John. Great people. But you know, they open up home against Mercyhurst Prep, who is loaded. They got 18 kids back from their team last year, and I'm just hoping Meadville doesn't suffer big injuries in that game. They can stay with them and be a sort of a nice thing.
Way to get the season start off on the right foot.
You know, because they got to be ready because the second week they go to Cache. And that is the game. Let's be honest.
Rivalry, no doubt about
And
it.
I'm glad they kept that game.
Yeah.
You know, some people were hoping to be the first game, but District 10 took, I don't know if you knew this, Chuck, but District 10 kind of took over your non-league scheduling. You had to get it through them, and Meadville really was looking for somebody else, but they kind of gave Meadville Mercyhurst Prep. Because they were looking at Meadville from the last 2 years, not this year. So I think Meadville is going to struggle. Pollard kid will be their center. He's a good lineman, but beyond him at the line, I think we'll see if they improve as the year goes on up front. And that's why I think Meadville's going to throw. They have LaShawn Lindsay and they have his brother playing this year, too. The younger Lindsay's also playing football this year. And they also got another football player that's playing tight end. I can't think of his name offhand. He came last year from somewhere else to play basketball. So probably 3 of Coach McElhaney's starters are playing football for Coach Collins.
I bet he's thrilled about that.
Yeah, I bet he is too.
But you know what? I'm kind of glad because I'm not a big fan of kids specializing in one sport when they're young. I know there's a lot on the line and so forth. It's easy for me to say, but you know, I think Meadville,
Coaches I've talked to agree.
Yeah,
They
right.
like the multi-sport athletes.
Right, they do at the next level, and I think Meadville basketball will be okay this year. But the football team, I look at them and go 4-6, and if they win more than 4 games, it's really a tribute to the coaching staff and to the kids. The kids are going to give it all. 3rd game they come home and host McLean. 4th game they go to LaBeouf, and they have Warren home. They go to Franklin, Oil City home, Du Bois away, which can't wait to drive 3 hours to go to Du Bois. And
Seems like it's always away at Du Bois.
I know. October, too. You know, I'm great. I get to see the Leaves then, and they come home against Grove City at home, which is a non-region game, and Grove City's always tough.
Loaded, yeah.
But I think Meadville obviously will play in the playoff unless they don't win anything or win one game. I think Coach Collins will put him in. I did go in his office today down at Bender Field, and he has a ton of juniors on this team. A lot of them haven't played much varsity, but he has a lot of juniors that will see a lot of action this year. But I think Kilburn's a great leader of quarterback. The kid never misses weight training all summer and spring. He's there all the time. He's one of the strongest kids on the team. He throws a nice pass.
I heard they did well at 7-on-7s this summer.
They did well 7-on-7, and that's throwing the ball. And I think Coach Collins is probably saying to himself, I got to throw this year. I got to throw this year. Now, when you have Journey Brown, Isaiah Manning in the backfield, you can have 10 men up front. You get outside, you're gone. We don't have that right now. You know, and so I think to loosen up the team's Pete,
I have to.
you got to throw. And you got Lindsay. I'll tell you what, they were practicing going up in the air. Now, he's 6'7" to begin with. He goes up in the air. I don't know what cornerback's going to stop him. And Kilburn's throwing it right at the apex, and he's catching it at the apex of the ball. I like that word, apex. I throw it in.
I'm looking forward to seeing
But,
how that works out.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. It should be fun. You know, I'm hoping they have fun. Throw the ball around. You lose, you lose.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
The first interception though, coaches start to retreat from there. We got to pass more. They hate turning the ball
Cash
over and
doesn't.
pass.
Cash doesn't. Petco comes out firing that baby.
He does, baby.
He forces you to play the pass on defense. He forces you to do that. And he has a good running game. Hunter Merritt ran up and down the field, but he threw the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Sheets is a very similar player. I think
Oh.
he's a huge kid.
He's a big kid. Yes, he is.
And he can get the ball down the field, and he can tuck it and run it too.
And I think where Cash is playing this year, they're going to have to throw a little more too.
I'd
in that
agree with
region.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably will.
See, with Coach Hancock, there'd be a lot of times we'd we just have no idea what would happen. That's out the window because we have a new coach, so it'll be interesting to see how Coach Baldwin coaches his team, and we might have a freshman quarterback, so that might be interesting as well. So we're going to be calling a lot of names that we haven't called before this season, but I think we're pretty excited about getting back into it. And as we always talk about, Mike, and you mentioned it earlier, there's nothing like being at a high school field on a Friday night.
There is nothing. You know, Ed Marin will be working the games with me, and we'll be on. Not only will we be on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network, but we'll be on FM, and the name has changed to Rocky 94.3 FM. So no more was, it's Rocky 94.3 FM.
No kidding.
Yep, so we'll be on Rocky 94.3 FM all season long. And again, download the Ustream app and type in Meadville High School Sports, and you can get Meadville High School Sports anywhere in the country. And we, you know, and Ed does a good job with Facebook, and we get people from Jersey and Connecticut and Florida. Joey Gray, who Chuck knows from his basketball days, lives in Florida, and he listens to Meadville football and basketball on Ustream, the Ustream app, and it's kind of cool, you know. We get messages sent to us like you do.
Oh yeah,
too,
we
in
always
your
get
booth,
messages. Yeah.
you know, about alumni listening to the games, and so again, you Bulldog Nation fans, go out there the first week, support the Dogs when they play Mercier's Prep. I know it's Friday a fair week, but by Friday night you had enough fair food. You know, get out to your local high school games Friday. You
Concession stand food.
Yeah, you know, come on, support the kids, right? Look, so many chickens.
I think the band parents work our concession stand,
That's
so
right.
it helps the band out.
Exactly, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think it's football for ours, but still, you know, and that's what we talk about too, Chuck and Pete, too, high school sports, cheerleaders, the bands, you know, the fans, and I always say this. Luke knows I say this. I want to emphasize this again. Remember, they're kids. They're not looking to fumble, throw an interception, miss a block, or miss a tackle. So support them, okay? They're doing the best they can. Yeah, right? I mean,
Right.
they're doing the
They're
best
playing a
they
game.
can. They're playing a game. You know,
It's supposed to be fun.
the pros, they play on Sunday and Monday and Thursday, and I don't know what other night
every
they're
day
playing
now.
Every day now.
Yeah, I know. Every day is
Every
correct.
day.
Yeah.
The refs, on the other hand, is it okay to?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah, they're getting paid to refs. So I look at to be honest with you, I look at Oil City in this region and McLean to be the top two teams right now. I don't know much about LaBeouf, but I think Oil City could have a banner year. They got a lot coming back. They have a fabulous quarterback.
That Christian Cole running the ball.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete. Talk about Oil City a little bit if you know.
What did he have,
whatever
like
you know.
1,700 yards or something last
Yeah,
year? 14
exactly.
touchdowns? That guy could move it. Yeah, they're going to be good, and Dan York in charge, and you know he could get the most out of a running back.
No question.
He did it for more than a decade at Lakeview, and now he's doing it at Oil City. He simplifies things, he streamlines offenses, he gives the guy to a horse and just rides him, and that's what Christian Cole is for them this year. So,
Well, Oil City people tickled pink with that hire too,
were they?
because he
Well,
brought.
he's an Oil City guy, I think.
Yeah,
anyway.
but I mean, exactly. Number one, he's an Oil City guy, but he brought back continuity in their program. It's like you said, they're back to, you know, we're going to beat you up.
Mhm.
Oil City got
They were doing the spread.
too much spread. It was almost throwing the ball all the time. And, you know, what happens is up front, you lose your toughness when you're throwing all the time. So when they tried to run, teams just beat them up. And they couldn't stop the run because they weren't tough up front.
I'm still mystified about Lakeview getting rid of Dan York. I don't understand.
I don't know, but Oil City's happy.
Yeah, yeah. It
And
worked
I got
out
a
for
feeling
them.
he got a good chance to win that region. You know, Pete, you look at Gerald McLean, talk about a coach.
Yeah.
He's
Jim
great.
Wells,
He's great.
He's another, like in the Pat Gould model. Kids just respect him. They do what he asks, and he gets the most out of a team. They did graduate quite a few guys. Nasir Singleton, he was pretty unstoppable for them last year, and he's gone. Remember, they would run the Wildcat to him and pass to him.
That's what turned their season around last year. Remember the first couple
It was
games?
against Pontiac. That's when they turned it around.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so he's gone. So I mean, they need to figure that out, which I'm sure they will. I mean, that's one you could never go into a General McLean game lightly. They were 4-6 last year. I see them improving on that. Let's see.
They were 4-6, and I think they're 0-4 at one time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They really turned it around. Meadville, that region, I don't know. Warren, they got that guy's a second-year head coach there. They got that quarterback back, Jacob Chella at Warren. A couple running back, a wide receiver. They could be tough. Warren could be improved. They were only 2-8 a year ago, but another year under that Mark Morelli's, leadership, they could be better.
What helps Meadville when they play Warren this year is Warren goes to come to Meadville. they take the long bus route.
Oh yeah,
You know, that's a long haul for
It
those
is.
kids. So
it is.
Yeah.
And then Franklin, they got another.
Franklin's
Ian
got Coach
Hayes
Haynes'
back.
son, a quarterback, who's a fabulous player. But they lost a lot.
2,931 yards passing.
They lost a lot
last year.
too. You know, I think I don't know how good they'll be as a team,
Yeah.
but they got a great quarterback.
Yeah, I think his main receiver last year, Brandon Johnson, is graduated as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Let me check his numbers last year, but I believe they were pretty substantial. He was a pretty big key in their offense. This is fun watching people rifle through papers. I know. 64 catches, 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns. These are numbers unheard of until the last few years.
especially the high school level.
Yeah.
Du Bois will be very strong.
You think so? Yeah, they got that Matt Miller back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a heck of a thrower. Excuse me.
We're on cable. It's all right.
All right. 1,922 yards passing last year. But he was hurt for part of the year, wasn't he?
He
if I
was.
recall.
He
and,
was.
and they tried different things. So
Right.
yeah, we'll see. Du Bois. Yeah, I think those are the teams that are gonna be
They have an
contending.
awesome field down there, don't they, Pete?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Stadium's a
Mantle
beautiful stadium.
is
now. It was
beautiful.
first class stadium. You're walking in, it's like you think you're playing in a small D1 place.
Yeah.
It's big time down there. And
You should-
football's big time at Du
You
Bois.
should see their
man.
softball team now. I went down there this summer for a Sagertown playoff game, and they had a fountain in center field. It was gorgeous, aluminum
I
stands.
think they have a lot of baseball playoffs out there too. I think
They
they have
do.
a
Yeah, they got
legit
another nice
baseball stadium as
field.
well.
Du,
Yep.
Du Bois High School is not where their stadium is. This is where they practice, and their practice field's turf.
Wow.
Bad.
Think about this. Their
must be nice.
practice
Not
field's
bad.
turf. Then you go down to their stadium when they play. It's unbelievable. It's like, wow. So, yeah, I mean,
Slippery Rock has a nice facility.
yeah, you do.
Fairview has a nice facility.
Yes.
So
When you guys have turf yet?
we will never
Yeah.
get turf.
No turf in Titusville?
Grass.
No, just grass.
It's part of the
Yeah.
tradition. Which it's funny because we don't play Warren this year, but every time we play Warren in Titusville, it rains. It becomes a mud bowl, which Titusville does very well.
Sure.
And
They're used to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're used to it. So Warren always hated coming to Titusville on a rainy Friday night.
That's funny. Well, gentlemen, anything to add down there, Jim?
Nothing for the good of this group.
No? Pete?
Oh, I'm good.
Chuck?
No, not
Ready for-
really.
Chuck, what year? How many years is this for you now doing? high
That's
school
about
sports?
number 48.
Wow.
One thing I do want to say, congratulate Ray Collins, coach of the Dogs, as he retired from the Pennsylvania State
Yes,
Police
Yes, he did.
this
Oh, wow.
last Friday.
Right.
He started in 1991, so he was there quite a few years. So
Congratulations,
congratulations, Ray.
Good guy.
Yes, he
And just
definitely
the
a
first
good guy.
brass.
Enjoy always go down and interview him. We'll do the cash dog game.
Yeah, he's just a good guy. We're well fortunate, and in this area, we have a lot of guys that are just good people coaching people's kids, you know, in all different sports. We're very fortunate in that regard. We have a lot of good coaches in this area. Chuck, what was your first game? Can you remember? Your first game you-
Football.
Yeah.
I remember basketball.
What's
That
basketball?
would have been the first down. It would have been Lakeview at Lionsville at that time.
Wow. And that would have
Like
been
19,
what
that'd been-
station was that? VCC?
VCC, yes, back in 1970.
Wow. I can remember when we started football at Cochran. I was part of the coaching staff. Chuck coming down, and when David Dixon, those guys
Oh,
were playing.
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
you could do some
Those
of
are
those
some
games.
great games.
We played a lot of teams played Saturday afternoon now.
True. Well, that's when they had that. They was worrying about the
Lionsville,
Yeah.
Cochran, and Lake. They all
light
played
heating.
Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Luke, what year is this for you doing Titusville?
Quite a while. I don't keep track after 2, so
Keep track of it.
yeah, it's not near 50, but 10 plus years for what I do. But overall,
Nice.
it's been almost all my life just going to games and being there. So
Seen a lot of. So you probably talk to people now that used to play.
used to play, used to coach.
friends, yeah.
You see Buck Crab from time to time.
He was a
and-
legend. Bucky Crab. My God, what teams they had at Titusville back then? Meadville, Titusville, Warren with Toby Shea. I'm talking in the late 70s and the 80s. And those games were bloodbaths. And you know what's interesting back then, because soccer wasn't big, teams had like 60 kids on their roster back then. I mean, Meadville, Warren, Titusville, Oil City,
We
Franklin.
used to take on Greenville year, and those are tough
Greenville with
games.
Bob Stone.
Oh,
And you know what? Stone had 4 plays, and he beat you.
Yeah,
4 plays, 4 running plays, and he beat you all the time.
it's funny if we go to Greenville people come up. You remember, and especially our play-by-play guy, Jim Bodemer.
Oh yeah, he knows.
And he's an older guy,
Yeah.
and so he's been around, all these teams, and these guys come up and, hey, do you remember in '67, so and so and so? I mean, that's what we talk about, these rivalries. You lose that when you keep changing these schedules every couple years.
That's the big downside. The FCVC was a great conference. Section 2 was a great conference. Oil City, Franklin, Warren, Greenville, Meadville. I mean,
Yep.
Northwest Conference. Is that what
the
it is?
Northwest Conference.
Yeah.
That's right, Pete. It was just great, and coaches were unbelievable. You had McNulty, you had Hancock's down at Franklin, and sometimes they didn't like each other.
True.
It wasn't a put on; they just didn't like each other. And, it was interesting. So yeah, but hey, get out there this fall, support your local high school teams, go to your local college games, support the team, have fun, enjoy the football season. For Jim, Pete, Chuck, Luke, this is Mike saying you've been watching Sports Close Up on Armstrong.